Moving on to the AL West, for the Astros, it was kind of hard to pick, I'll admit. So I went with Corey Lee. I think it's only a matter of time before Corey Lee actually makes the big league club. He actually didn't really do that great, though, in the minors last season. He only hit 238 with a 307 on base percentage. He did have 12 stolen bases and 13 attempts, though, and for a catcher, that's fantastic. 25 home runs and 76 RBI to go along with it. I think he's close. He might even make the team out of opening day. I don't really know. But this is a guy to keep an eye on because if he does make the team, he could, kind of similar to Jeremy Pena, he could just explode onto the scene and be the next rookie sensation for this team to look forward to. Especially because the Astros are coming off a World Series title. They're trying to defend the crown. If Corey Lee can come up and contribute to that, who knows? I think they could be really big for them.
Yeah, hopefully he comes up and has solid time as an Angels fan. I just hope the team doesn't click at the same time. I wish them all success, but hopefully it doesn't all come at the same time, so they aren't just beating down everybody. The guy that I picked, Jose Abreu, kind of like, will he ever decline? Because he just keeps aging and he's still hitting. He's still one of the better bat guys. He's just great. The only thing that has declined with age has been his power, which it's still not terrible. What did he hit? I think he hit 15 homers last year, but which is a little down for him. But the average is still up there, and he's still a great addition. The rich just keep getting richer. They just, but Abreu is kind of the guy that I'm going to be watching just because the Astros, not a lot changed in that lineup, and they actually added to it. So Abreu is kind of the guy I'll be watching just because, I've been a big fan of his even through all his time with the White Sox. So I'll still be watching him with the Astros.
Moving on to the Texas Rangers, this is actually the guy I think who could steal the American League Rookie of the Year award from Gunnar Henderson, and that's Josh Young. He's another third baseman. Not a great year last year in his big league time with the Rangers. He only hit 204, 653 OPS. But I think Young was playing hurt most of last year because he only had a handful of games in the minors as well. So a healthy Josh Young should boost those numbers up quite a bit. He still hit 5 home runs, 14 RBI. The 39 strikeouts is a little concerning, but he only had 36 in his minor league stint last year, and he played considerably more games. So I imagine it's just more trying to figure out big league pitching. But Young is a cornerstone of that team. He's a guy that they're expecting to perform well, and for a Rangers team trying to compete, if Josh Young can turn his season around and perform like they expect him to, there's no reason the Rangers can't be competing come October, at least for a wild card spot, if not the division, depending on how everything plays out. So I think that Young is kind of in that bracket of he could easily win Rookie of the Year if he performs well. So he's the guy that I'm watching on Texas, at least.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about picking him until I saw that you picked him, and I was like, okay, I'll find someone else. But Young's his biggest thing this year is being able to adjust, because you mentioned the strikeouts. I don't think it's really a huge issue, but if he learns to adjust and kind of change the things he needs to adjust to the way big league pitchers are pitching him, I think he'll be pretty solid, and I think it'll be good stuff for them. My pick for the Rangers, it feels a little silly, but Jacob deGrom. Obviously, we know what he's capable of. We've seen him just dominate. But his health, he's going to make or break that rotation. I know they have a ton of depth in the rotation, and they went out and picked up a lot of guys. But deGrom is sort of he's so good that if he's injured the whole year, I feel like it's just going to kill the morale of the team or the rotation, or it's just going to kind of put a dark cloud over that, because the front office, that was their huge move this offseason, was getting the best pitcher in baseball. And if he can't be on the field, that's just going to be such a spirit killer for the team. And if he's healthy all year, watch out. That team is going to be so good. But it's always silly too to put it at all on one player. I don't think it's all on him, but I think he's going to be a big influence to that rotation. He just needs to stay healthy.
Moving on to the Seattle Mariners, I'm picking George Kirby. He's ace material. Had a big rookie year last year, actually. Pitched 130 innings, 3.39 ERA, 1.21 whip, and 25 starts. Very respectable. The thing that I'm looking at, though, is he has incredible command. 133 strikeouts to 22 walks in those 25 starts. This guy's a freak, and I thought Logan Gilbert was a freak. George Kirby just basically made Logan Gilbert be forgotten about. They have another pitching prospect in Emerson Hancock who might come up this year too. So, but for me, I think Kirby is more than capable of potentially being the ace of this team. I know you're not excited about that. I'm excited about it, but he's the guy I'm looking for. I think it'll be interesting to see how he does in his sophomore season. How is he going to be able to adjust? Because I know that you get one season in, usually you can get your first season out of the way unscathed. How is he going to adjust to the competition this time around? But he's the guy Mariners fans should be absolutely excited for to lead that rotation in the future.
Yeah, he was actually the guy I was going to pick. I did a duel. I did George Kirby / Logan Gilbert just because it's not fair. They have like two of these guys come up and they're both just great. And the thing that is, as an Angels fan, the thing that's just depressing is I ask guys that like the two levels of minor leagues I'm able to see is AAA and low A. Used to be high A, and then Manfred bumped us down. Anyway, I talk to guys at those levels, like players, and I ask them what organization is the toughest to hit against, and they all say the Mariners. Like they all say the Mariners just have great pitching, and it's so there's more coming. Like it's not just these guys. They have so many. Whatever they're doing for pitching, whether it's scouting or development, they're doing it right. So yeah, I mean Kirby and Logan Gilbert, just both of them. Kirby 3.39 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Gilbert 3.20 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. Like, what are we gonna do with that? They're up and coming. They're gonna stay there for a while. I just have to hope that I don't know they get traded or the arbitration years come quickly, or the post arbitration. Once they're up free agency. I mean.
Free agency.
Anyway, yeah, they're looking good, unfortunately.
For the Angels, you talked about him a lot with like when we've gone back and forth, but I'm actually going with Pat Sandoval. It just feels like it's a matter of time before he finally breaks out. It's just unfortunate that he's one of those pitchers that can't seem to get run support whenever he goes out there. 27 starts last year, 2.91 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. 151 strikeouts to 60 walks. It's there. It's absolutely there. I might even make an argument that if it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani, he's definitely the best pitcher on this team. He might even be the ace of this team, depending on how Ohtani does this year. But he just has to get the run support. And with the Angels' offense the way it is on paper, he should finally get that. I mean, he only won 6 games last year, which is criminal for a guy who pitched this well. And I know wins don't really mean anything now, but if he can keep this up and the offense can come through for him, he's borderline going to be a 20-game winner. That's just the thing to look forward to.
Yeah, last year I remember there was a span, I think from May until, it was like late May until early August, he didn't get a win. And I think his ERA in that span was like 2. And it's like, man, that's rough. His problem too, the years before, was he'd nibble and run his pitch count up and then get pulled at like 4 2/3 because Joe Madden loves to do that to starters. Anyway, so he would end up getting pulled, even though he would get run support, and then he'd get pulled at 4 2/3, and whoever came in and pitched the 1/3 of that last inning got the win. My pick for the Angels, I cheated again and picked 2, although Ben Joyce is one of them. I'm going to talk a little less about him, but just he wasn't really seen as a guy who was going to be big league or opening day possibility, but he came into camp and he's throwing like 105 in camp. He's the guy who threw 105.5 in a college game for Tennessee, and YouTube lit up on him. But anyway, Angels, he went into camp and he's been throwing, and Max Stassi said the other day that in their bullpen, he doesn't think a single pitch came in under 100. And I guess he worked on some stuff to add movement, because that was part of his problem in Double-A last year, was guys were kind of slap hitting him. Like they no one took him deep, I don't think, but guys were just knocking singles against him because they were just waiting on that fastball. But he's added some movement apparently, and they're just calling him filthy and electric. So Phil Nevin actually said I think yesterday that yes, Ben Joyce does have a chance to make the opening day roster now. Like
Very
he is
nice.
in contention for that bullpen spot. And that is kind of a little bit news for the Angels because he was seen as like a AAA guy to start the year. But we'll see where that goes. It just depends on how his spring is. But my actual pick for guy I'm watching this upcoming year is Logan O'Hoppe because he's MLB's number 2 pick for AL Rookie of the Year, possibly. But he's sort of the beginning of the new wave of prospects coming through for the Angels. Perry Minasian has done a lot of work improving that farm system that has been bad for so long, starting with, I guess, maybe Tony Regan's, but Dipoto kind of traded everyone away, and then none of the other guys after him replenished it until Minasian. So Logan O'Hoppe, I think he's going to be solid. He had 26 bombs and 360 at bats last year in Double A, so that's promising. That power just exploded. And then Max Stassi, I think, will probably platoon with him most of the year, but he's going to fall into a backup role until Edgar Caro comes up and takes his job. Angels have 2 catchers in their minor league system, if you count O'Hoppe, who hit 960 or higher for OPS last year. So they're set at that position for the foreseeable future, and O'Hoppe is kind of the beginning of that. So he's the guy I'm watching. The guy I feel really bad for, though, is Matt Thaiss. That guy just can't catch a break. He was first base, and he was like waiting for Pujols to leave, and then Pujols looked like he was on his way out, and entered Jared Walsh, and so that kind of ruined first base for him. So then he like moved back to catcher this last year, or actually he was toying with third base, and then they signed Rendon, and then he moved to catcher, and then now they got O'Hoppe, and it's like Matt Thaiss just can't win no matter where he goes. He's trying so hard to fit in with the Angels. I kind of hope that they give him a chance elsewhere, not because I don't like him or anything, just because I wish, he's working hard. He deserves a shot. But anyway, so that's my spiel on the Angels. We can move on.
And to conclude the AL West, we're going to Oakland A's. I mean, the team is scrappy, but as far as who to look forward to, I'm picking Dermis Garcia. He's got power, and I don't think he's going to be a guy who really hits for average, so to say, but I think he could be fun to watch as far as hitting some moonshots. He only hit 207 last year with the A's. He hit 5 homers in a short stint. He's going to strike out a lot, though. But I think at the end of the day, Oakland has prospects coming up, and this is a guy to watch because he's probably going to be your first baseman of the future. And if you like home runs, well, he's the guy who's going to do it.
Yeah, that's the A's were a tough team to pick from.
I agree.
They have so many guys who are fighting for spots, and sometimes those guys are the guys that play the hardest, and maybe we'll see a gem come out or a few of them. I'm kind of looking at JJ Bleday. I would love to see him sort of stick it to the Marlins. Not that I don't like the Marlins. I just think for him personally, he made a statement the other day that the trade came like right after they made him go participate in Marlins Fan Fest. Like he like left Marlins Fan Fest and then was doing something at home and found out he got traded. So like he's a little hurt by that, I think. I would love to see him do something. He hasn't had the best time as a pro. He did have good time at AAA last year, which is kind of what led to his call up. I think he had a 835 OPS in AAA, and then when they called him up, he struggled in the bigs. He had 586 OPS, which is not going to cut it. But he did kind of finally figure it out at AAA because he had struggled a couple years before that in the minors. And I think he had finally kind of discovered something, and that's why he was a little bit hurt that the Marlins traded him, because he felt like I think he had finally started to find some success, and he felt like they just had such a short leash with him. So I'd love to see him kind of find some success. That'd be good for him. Fun to watch too.